Hey there, I'm Brendan Gulick for Buckeyes Now on Sports Illustrated, and welcome to NCAA 21. This is our preview of Week 1 of our virtual season for the 2020 football season. If you didn't see the story we put out last week, we decided perhaps it was time to try and have a little bit of fun because it's been a rather frustrating few months without any real football in the Big Ten to talk about. And obviously at Ohio State, that's a big deal, right? A lot of fans are pretty upset and pretty disappointed that the Buckeyes are not going to have a chance in real life, at least it doesn't appear that way, to compete for a national championship unless things were to change drastically here in the next couple weeks. So in the meantime, we're going to manufacture some fun, and hopefully you'll enjoy following along with us. So we're going to simulate, in a virtual setting, we're going to simulate the entire 2020 season week by week. We're going to follow the revised schedule that the Big Ten put out that never actually got a chance to be used. So that means in week 1 of our virtual season, Ohio State will open up on the road at Illinois. Let's get you set for our virtual game at Illinois. Of course, the Buckeyes coming off of a season where they largely cruised through every game they played, averaging about 47 points per game offensively last year. And frankly, they beat teams by an average of 33 points per game. There really weren't very many close games last season until the end of the year. And that's the one game that certainly hasn't left Ohio State's sort of their blinders, if you will. They're pretty focused on a revenge tour, if you will. The Clemson loss was frustrating and disappointing in late December. And so in the virtual season, we'll see if the Buckeyes can put that behind them and get back to work here in week 1. Obviously, you got Justin Fields back, right? He's perhaps the best player in America and is coming off of one of the best statistical seasons in Ohio State history. At quarterback, he only threw 3 interceptions last year and was a Heisman candidate. Just terrific. On the defensive side of the ball, certainly graduated or lost to the draft some pretty important pieces. I guess the offensive side too, but while the linebacking core is largely intact and you've got some pretty good veteran players there, guys in the secondary are going to be largely new faces. Really, Shaun Wade is the only one that you would think is an anchor, preseason All-American. There's going to be a largely new group there, and that'll probably be one of the more scrutinized groups of the season. How about for the Fighting Illini? They're actually coming off of, their best season in quite some time. They went 6-7 last year and made a bowl game for the first time since 2014. It's their first bowl game appearance under Lovie Smith. It was kind of a little bit of a rocky start, but they turned it around in the middle of the season nicely. And they won 4 games in a row, including against Wisconsin and Michigan State. Those were pretty notable wins for Illinois. And I think a good reason for that, Brandon Peters, who is now a senior, transferred in last year from Michigan and played fairly well for Illinois last year. But they also graduated a good bit of talent. And I think this year's Illinois team, they're still trying to figure out exactly who's going to play where and what things are going to look like once they get out of their virtual camp. So we'll see how it goes. I know Mike Epstein is going to be their running back this year. After graduating a couple of running backs, it's a big role now for Epstein. Can Brandon Peters lead their offense and be successful again after at one point last year they were 6-4 before losing their last 3 games? We'll keep our eye on the Buckeyes and the Fighting Illini. It's week 1 of our virtual season. We'll kick things off on Saturday at noon Eastern time. Hope you'll join us. We'll have some reaction afterwards as well. We'll have highlights from the games, and we'll certainly talk about it as a group on Buckeyes Now. So tune in Saturday at noon Eastern time on BuckeyesNow.com.